and welcome to Sell Me Fire. My name is Chris Exusion. You can find me at Chris E. Baum on Twitter. This is www.riseandfirebets.com, and it is Sell Me Fire. Coming off the Travelers, we're on to the John Deere Classic. I am always looking for a play to rise on fire, and whether it's betting, DFS, I don't care what the field is. We got golfers we can bet, we can make money on. I don't want to miss out. I got one of my favorite guys on, a Philly voice, if you will. He does more than just that. He covers everything sports betting, DFS, always looking for great edges. And he's my dude, Eytan Shander. Welcome, man. Welcome to the show.
Bob, are you kidding me, man? Thank you. I'm honored to be a part of this, and let's cash some tickets, my brother.
Absolutely. And we got John Deere here. A lot of people are poo-pooing this event, and I want no parts of that. I love the PGA. I tell everyone every day it's the best sporting event to bet on, period. All the action, short, long bets, odds in your favor. I absolutely love it. I know you've been doing your stuff with Odd Shopper right now.
Yep.
And I know you got a play for me that I need the Rise of Fire on. So please sell me some fire here.
Absolutely, man. And I think you can look at this winner, top 40. You can build a ladder. We've been doing this. You mentioned Odd Shopper, my Putting for Dough show. We hit a nice Nick Hardy ladder, 40, 20, 10 last week. So I'm going to give you one guy who is a former winner of this event, but not only can you get him plus 5,000 to win it again, the repeat may be a little bit of a stretch. That's fine. But what I'm going to sell you on, Ebom, is the fact that when we've seen every single winner so far at the John Deere at this course, it's been somebody who has played and lost, who has struggled or at least gotten through that one time, except for one name, and that's a wild card, and that's probably putting it nicely. A lot of people think he's a bozo. Other people love him because they make him money, but that's Dylan Fratelli. And I think if you look at just the nature of how people win at the John Deere, getting through it one time or a couple of times and then winning it, the fact that Fratelli has won this his first time is a nice little bump here to where I can get plus money for him, plus 110, top 40, and then you build it, top 40, top 20, top 10. So that's what I'm going to sell you on today, is a guy who has the course history of winning, but unlike everybody else, didn't need that second, third time around. And I think it's a safe assumption, not a lock, but a safe assumption that his familiarity with this course on top of his early success is a good enough play to build this 40, 20, 10 ladder. So I don't hate him at plus 5,000, depending on where you get him, where you see him. Always shop in this sport for sure. But my sell here would be building that Fratelli ladder 40, 20, 10.
All right. Well, he's a guy that
look, it's the John Deere, man. I don't expect you to love my plays.
No. All right. So I like what you're talking about, because a lot of guys that do win this event have had a very poor track record. And it's always tough to really back a guy that's been in bad form. But this tournament brings out the best in some of the worst, and that's what it really comes down to. Fratelli, what he has been doing, he has been making the cut for a while. He just recently missed the cut at the Travelers.
But before that, he had a nice little streak here.
A nice little streak, the Valero with the T8, but he's been making cuts. So he's been hanging around. He hasn't really exploded off the scene a little bit with like a win. I mean, he had the top 8 with the Valero. This is a guy that, the approach game has been there for him before. He's been on a nice stretch of the approach game. And I think that when you look at golf tournaments, approach play is always king. And he has had stretches. I mean, this is like, you're getting a little Jekyll and Hyde with him, but that's what this tournament brings out with these guys. And he has thrown some streaks in there. I mean, if you're looking at one play that you're really liking with Dylan Fratelli this week, what is that one play?
What I would do a lot of times when we try to build top 10s or just outrights, right? It's a 10th, maybe a quarter of a unit. If I were to play one thing with Fratelli this week, I think what I would do would be, honestly, I would put 2 units on him top 40.
Okay.
I think at this point, I'm confident enough. You talk about the cut streak. That's essentially what this is. A top 40 play is essentially playing a 6K guy in DFS with the assumption that both of these guys are making the cut, or in both scenarios, you're making the cut, right? When you target low end guys in golf, you're trying to go 6 of 6, even a 5 of 6 you'll take. But the point is that we're targeting guys who are in that 6K, 6 to 7, low 7K range, mainly 6,000 range, so that they make the cut. Same thing here with Fratelli. So if I were to look at everything across the board, Chris, I think that would be it. Now, I mean, I think you can make an argument for a guy like Zach Johnson at plus 8,000. I think you can make an argument for a guy like Denny McCarthy, because this is a course that truly doesn't require you to bomb off the tee, shape some shots off the tee. And honestly, you're going to get plus money for a guy like Maverick McNeely, who's kind of just waiting to burst open here on tour. And I think all of us are waiting for that. And instead of putting that outright win pressure on him, this is another guy who I think fits really well with this course. The not necessarily just honestly this desire or need for a lot of younger guys to pound the ball off the tee, where you can shape some shots and not be as aggressive. I think Maverick fits here too, but yeah, if there was one for Telly, it'd be top 40.
All right, so I saw him at plus 130. I think that's pretty good odds for him. For a guy that has come off a win off this, he missed the cut last year. So that, it is what it is. There's volatility. We have to embrace it this week. I think that's important. But when I look at his stats specifically, he's pretty much positive on all strokes gained categories throughout the entire season. In his last 50 rounds played, he's a slight negative off the tee, which I'm not too concerned about.
Yep.
That's not a huge deal
not
to me.
Here,
he's losing a lot.
Like it's not like this is a bomber's course, right? Where if you're struggling and you need to get 290 to clear, or you need to get up to set up a second shot, 285 plus, all of a sudden the accuracy becomes a main question. There are going to be a lot of guys that are going to be shaping some shots off the tee, maybe not as much with the driver, depending on certain holes. So I think that kind of helps him, just like with McCarthy, where you don't need to be 300 accurate dead down the middle, and other areas of your game can help. So to your point about Fratelli, that's why the John Deere makes sense. I think it's the first time I've mentioned Fratelli all season on the play that I do for Putting for Dough, but it was because of the circumstance and the fit. That's really
I mean, the accuracy has been talked about all week. I think it's kind of overplayed this week because the rough is really short here. It's not something that you have to you hit it out off to the side. I don't think you're going to be penalized as much as people are saying. I just think people that were playing good, like in the past, have been accurate off the tee. I think it's kind of a little fool's gold this week. I think, don't get me wrong, you're accurate off the tee, you're going to play better, especially these guys that aren't as good playing against lesser competition. And I think that's something you have to consider. You got to think outside the box a little bit. I think you're doing that here. A guy that has won, and he missed the cut, so he might get overlooked. I mean, I'm just even looking on his fantasy projections right now. He's barely even getting looked at this week. So
what is he as far as cost on DK? I was just curious.
He's at 7,600. He's a little mid-tier, but you know what? That's a little high for him, but it's because of the field. You have to take that into consideration. And I think people are not going to buy in on him because he is 7,600. Because you got other names that that definitely meet more of a name factor. Even if I'm looking at a couple guys, I think even like Alex Smalley might even bring in more people. And if I'm looking at Adam Shank, he's always popular. Svensson is like Mr. Popularity every week. So these are kind of guys that I think are going to eat up that ownership. And then I think Fratelli's a good spot, man. I like people who are overlooking him. He's been pretty solid. Nothing special, but he has won, so he has liked this course. I like what you're selling me here. I'm all on board. Top 40. I like it.
I'll build the ladder. Play. Yeah.
I don't care if it loses. Honestly, I like it. I'm going to roll with it. I just love talking with you anyway. And you can sell me on a play. I'm all for it. Hey, Eytan, before you go, where else can they find you besides Odds Shopper?
I appreciate that big time, Chris. So easiest place is on Odds Shopper. Tons of content coming out there. Philly Voice have weekly, soon to be bi-weekly stuff happening. A lot of betting stuff as well. And on Fox 29, every Friday, we do props and locks. That's 6:30 live. And anything, and now especially, we do a lot of golf because I made sure that there are weekly mentions of this sport locally here in Philadelphia. So
absolutely, man. It's the hottest thing around. People are just catching on to it, and I absolutely love it. And I love having you on, man. I appreciate it. Let's go make that fire, man. Let's rise and fire.
Let's do it. Cash some tickets, E-Bomb. I love